The neighbor's dog had been barking for over an hour. That's what finally made me shut the laptop and get in the car. Not the creeping doubt I'd been chewing on for weeks. Not the dozens of half-excuses Madison gave for coming home late, or locking her phone screen every time I walked into the room. No, it was the dog. I pulled into the driveway around 6:45 earlier than she'd expect. Her car was already there, parked slightly crooked like she always did when she was rushing. Inside, the house was quiet, but not in the way it used to be. It did not feel still, felt staged. I stepped over her heels, still by the front door. She always kicked them off there. I remember how much I used to love seeing them. Bright red, stupidly high, like something a cartoon villain would wear. Now they just looked like props. She had not even bothered to straighten the rug under them. I heard a voice, not hers. A man's voice. And then hers, sharp, mocking. You should have seen his face when I said I had a meeting. He actually believed me. Still thinks I'm grinding away at campaign strategy like a good little wife. I do not remember walking up the stairs. My legs must have moved on their own. At the top, I turned right instead of left. Toward the guest room, the one with the broken blind that always let the streetlight cut across the floor in a perfect stripe. The door was cracked open. She was sitting on the edge of the bed in a robe I bought her 2 Christmases ago. Her phone was on speaker. Whoever was on the other end had just made a joke. She laughed. Not like she does with me, polite and short, but with that full-body kind of laugh where her shoulders shake and her head tilts back. You do not get it, she said. He still tries, like brings me coffee in the morning and tells me I look beautiful, like we re in some rom-com. I feel like I'm suffocating. I left, not with a slam or a dramatic shout. Just turned around and walked out of my own house like a guest who'd overstayed. Got in the car, drove 2 blocks, parked under a streetlight and stared at the steering wheel for who knows how long. I thought that would be the low point, but that was just the introduction. What happened when I came back? What she did when she realized I'd hurt her. That's when things flipped. When I walked back into the house an hour later, the lights were all off. Her car was still in the driveway, and the front door was unlocked. Like nothing had happened. Like she was not upstairs an hour ago mocking my life like it was some goddamn joke. I did not announce myself. I did not call out her name. I moved through the dark with the strange, slow calm, like I was outside of myself. The kitchen smelled like citrus cleaner and something burnt. There were 2 glasses in the sink. One had lipstick on it, not hers. I went upstairs straight to our bedroom this time. She was in bed curled under the blanket with the TV on low. Some late-night comedy show. She did not turn when I came in. Did not flinch. Just said, "Oh hey, you're back. Did you grab the almond milk?" Like I just stepped out to run errands. Like she had not gutted me an hour earlier with every syllable. I stood at the foot of the bed and watched her scroll on her phone. No shame. No hesitation. "You knew I was here earlier." I said. That made her look up. She blinked. "What?" "You knew I was in the house." Pause. She smiled. Like she was trying to figure out what angle to take. "Oh my God! Jake, are you spying on me now?" That was her move. Flip it. Make me the problem. She even chuckled a little. Shook her head like I was being ridiculous. "I heard you," I said. My voice was low, steady. "I heard everything about how I'm a pet. About how you flinch when I touch you. About how you with someone else." She stared at me for a second too long. Then she did something I'll never forget. She rolled her eyes. "No, Jake. You heard part of a conversation that had context. You blowing things way out of proportion." "Out of proportion?" I was venting. She snapped. "God forbid I need to blow off steam once in a while. You want to monitor everything I say now? Are we doing that?" She tossed her phone on the nightstand and sat up. Blanket falling off her shoulders. She looked straight at me. Eyes blazing. Like I was the one who decrossed the line. "You've been weird for months, Jake. Honestly, this obsession with everything being perfect. It's exhausting. Yuri, exhausting. There it was. That word again. Exhausting. That's what I was to her. I did not yell. Did not throw anything. I just said one thing. Who is he? Silence. She looked away. Then down. Then back at me. It does not matter. It does to me. She shrugged. His name is Ryan. He gets me. He does not follow me around like a lost puppy. He does not treat me like some delicate project. With him, I feel like me. Something I have not felt in years. That was it. The knife twisted. And just like that, she got out of bed. Walked right past me and said over her shoulder, I'm sleeping in the guest room. Yuri, making everything weird. Like I was the one who betrayed her. I stood there alone in our bedroom. The sound of the guest room door clicking shut, echoing like a gunshot. And that night, something broke in me. But not in the way I expected. Not sorrow. Not rage. Something colder. Sharper. Because I realized this was not the first lie. And it sure as hell was not going to be the last. That night I did not sleep. Not a minute. I just lay there in our bed, my bed. The one I'd built the damn frame for when we moved in. Staring at the ceiling while the hum of the guest room fan cut through the silence like a threat. Around 3 a.m. I got up and did something I had not done in years. I opened her laptop. She'd left it on the kitchen counter. No password change. That was the thing about Madison. She got cocky when she thought she had control. She never expected me to look. Never thought I'd stop trusting long enough to check. The messages were still there. Not texts. Those were wiped clean. But the emails sloppy. There were flights. A weekend trip to Denver. One she said was a women's leadership retreat last month. But she had not gone alone. She'd flown out Thursday night. He'd flown out Friday morning. They checked into the same boutique hotel. A receipt buried in her spam folder. I sat there clicking through hotel confirmations. Rideshare receipts. Dinner reservations under R&M. I do not know how long I scrolled. Long enough to feel like the last year of my life was a story I had not even been in. Just a background character in someone else's plot. Then I found the photos. She did not even save them to a hidden folder. Just a private album on her cloud. Misnamed work docs. Dozens of them. Madison and Ryan at a rooftop bar. On a ski lift. In a hotel room mirror. His arms around her waist while she held the phone and smiled like a teenager. She looked so alive in those pictures. Like she'd left months ago and just had not told me yet. But that was not even the worst of it. The worst came when I clicked on a video. I did not mean to. My hand shook and I hit the wrong button. And there she was, not doing anything explicit but close. Too close. Sitting on his lap. Laughing breathlessly into the camera. She looked happy. Giddy. The voice that came out of her mouth did not even sound like the woman I lived with. She leaned in and whispered. I feel like I'm finally doing what I want for once. For once. That's what she said. Like everything we had before was just some long suffocating rehearsal. Like I was a cage and he was the door. I closed the laptop. Sat in the dark kitchen for hours. Morning light started pouring through the blinds. And I still had not moved. When she came downstairs around 8:15. Yawning and tying her robe. She acted like nothing happened. Walked right past me. Opened the fridge and said, Ugh. You did not get the almond milk? I did not speak. Just stared at her. She looked over, raised a brow. What? What did you mean? I said, voice low. When you told him you've never felt this free. The smile froze on her face. Then with the coldest calm I've ever seen. She leaned against the fridge and said, You went through my stuff. No panic. No apology. Just judgment. You unbelievable. She said. Do you even hear yourself right now? I heard you, Madison. Upstairs. I read your emails. I saw your photos. I know. She narrowed her eyes and let out a soft, mocking laugh. So what now, Jake? You want to cry? Scream? Punch a wall? Go ahead. You think finding out makes you some kind of victim? Please. You've been checked out for years. I just finally did something about it. And that right there, that was the moment I knew. She was not sorry. She was not even embarrassed. She was done pretending. And now, so was I. She walked away from me that morning like we were roommates who disagreed over how to split the Wi-Fi bill. Not like a wife who'd just been caught tearing our marriage apart. Just poured her coffee. Added that ridiculous oat creamer she always complained about, and sipped it like she was on vacation. Meanwhile I stood there barefoot on the cold tile floor, watching the back of the woman I used to think I'd grow old with. She did not speak again until she was halfway out the door. I've got Pilates at 10, she said without turning. We'll talk later. Talk later? She really thought she could put this on pause. Like I was some underpaid assistant waiting for her next directive. No remorse. No curiosity about what I'd seen or how much I knew. Just complete emotional detachment. Like she'd already packed me up in a mental box and shoved it to the back of her mind. I spent the rest of the morning walking through the house like I was seeing it for the first time, or maybe like I was already a ghost inside it. Our pictures were still on the wall. Us on the Ferris wheel at Navy Pier. Her graduation photo with my arms around her. One from our honeymoon in Sedona where she leaned into me like I was her anchor. I touched the frame. It was covered in dust. It did not feel like nostalgia. It felt like theft. Around noon I went into the guest room. The one she'd claimed the night before like it was a hotel she'd be checking out of soon. The bed was messy, half-made. Her purse was open on the dresser, her phone charging beside it. And then I saw it, a note. Folded, shoved under the pillow. Not meant for me. Sloppy again. I pulled it out. Ryan. Last night I dreamt we were in that cabin again. The one in Tahoe. You kissed me and everything else just disappeared. I keep waking up wishing I was still there. Still yours. Soon. No love, no hearts, no lipstick mark, just soon. Like a promise she had no doubt she'd keep. I put the note back exactly where I found it. Sat on the edge of the bed for a long time, listening to the clock tick on the wall like it was counting down to something I had not yet defined. That afternoon I started packing. Not a tantrum, not a threat, just decisions. Methodical. Quiet. 3 boxes. One for essentials, one for legal stuff, one for everything I could not bear to look at but could not bring myself to leave behind. I was not sure where I'd go yet, but I knew I could not sleep another night under that roof. Not after what she said. Not after what I saw. At 5:17 p.m. The door opened. She walked in carrying some green juice, and her gym bag, pulled off her sunglasses and froze when she saw the boxes. Oh, so this is how you're handling it? She said, smirking. No yelling, no begging, just packing up and running away. I looked at her, and for the first time I did not see her. Not the girl I'd married. Not the woman I built a life with. Just a stranger wearing her voice. I sipped the last bag, stood straight and said, I'm not the one running Madison. You already left. You're just too much of a coward to admit it. She did not even blink. Whatever helps you sleep at night, she muttered and walked past me like I was not even there. But I did not need help sleeping that night. Because I was not staying. I left that night. No dramatic door slam. No bitter note on the counter. I just closed the door quietly behind me and walked away with a single duffel bag over my shoulder, my heart numb and my ears ringing with the echo of her indifference. I drove to my brother's place 2 towns over. Matt, always the practical one, always had my back. He did not ask questions when he saw my face. Just opened the door, nodded once and said, You want the couch or the guest room? The guest room, obviously. The couch was where I crashed after our engagement party all those years ago. It felt cursed now. The first night there was a blur. I could not eat, could not sit still. Just kept pacing that small room, staring out the window at nothing while Matt's old golden retriever followed me like she knew something was wrong. I ended up on the floor with my back against the bed frame, just staring at my hands like they were not mine. The next morning I called out of work. I told them I needed a few days for a family emergency. It was not a lie, not in the way it felt. My family had exploded overnight, had not it? By noon Matt finally cornered me in the kitchen. You gonna tell me what happened, or am I supposed to guess? I did not want to. Not really. But I told him. Not everything, not yet, but enough. Enough to see the way his jaw clenched, and his eyes dropped to the counter like he could not look at me too long without wanting to punch a wall. I always knew something was off about her, he muttered. But I kept my mouth shut. Figured you loved her, so what the hell did I know? You were right, I said, and I meant it. He did not say I told you so. He just clapped me on the shoulder and slid a beer across the counter like we were in some kind of unofficial grieving ceremony. Later that night I got a text from Madison. I hope you're happy now. Ryan's wife found out. His life's a mess. And you made it worse. I stared at that message for a full 5 minutes. I reread it just to be sure I was not imagining the audacity. She blamed me. Like I had not walked in on her betrayal. Like I was the one who'd set fire to her shiny little double life. I did not answer. A few minutes later another one came. So what now? You gonna go cry to your family and pretend I'm the villain? Grow up, Jake. That was the moment I realized not once since I confronted her had she said sorry. Not once had she asked how I felt, what this was doing to me, what I'd seen or heard or even needed. No regret. No remorse. Just spin. Deflection. Blame. She was not sorry she cheated. She was sorry she got caught. I did not reply. Not that night. Not the next day. And that silence must have knotted her, because what came next was not a message. It was a knock on Matt's door, and when I opened it she was standing there. Hair done. Sunglasses in her hand. That same half-fake pouch she always used when she wanted to manipulate. And she said 6 words I never expected to hear again. Can we please just talk, Jake? But the problem was I was not the same man who'd walked out of that house. And she had no idea who she was about to meet. She stood there like nothing had happened. No shame. No panic. Like we were having some rough patch in a movie and this was the scene where she was supposed to make it all better with a tear and a hug. I did not move. Behind me, Matt hovered silently in the hallway, just out of her view. I could feel him watching me. Probably ready to toss her off the porch if I gave the word. Jake. She said again, gentler this time. Please. I stepped out and pulled the door mostly closed behind me, leaving just enough space to make it clear. This was not her space. You re-bold, I said, coming here after everything. She tilted her head like she was confused. I thought maybe we could have a real conversation. No yelling, no spying. Just honesty. I laughed once. Quiet. Bitter. Honesty. She folded her arms, defensive already. Look, I get it. You re-hurt. But I never planned to fall for someone else, Jake. It just happened. And if we'd been in a better place, maybe it would not have. There it was. Again, not an apology, a justification, a pathetic little dance around guilt, just close enough to pretend it was accountability. You told him you were dying inside being with me. She winced. You said I was like a pet. Jake. You said you could not stand being around me. That I made you feel trapped. And now you here on my brother's porch, asking to talk like this is some healthy breakup. She straightened, voice tightening. I made mistakes. Okay? So did you. You stopped seeing me. No. I said I saw you. I just did not realize you were someone else. Silence stretched between us. Her lip twitched like she was about to cry. But I could tell it was performative. She did not feel sorry for what she did. She felt sorry that I did not fold like she expected me to. I'm not asking you to forgive me right now, she said, But you've been everything for years, Jake. You did everything right. And I still ended up doing this. Does not that tell you something? I blinked, actually stunned. You just blamed me for you cheating. Her face hardened. The mask slipped. Oh, come on, she snapped. We have not been happy in a long time. You'd rather sit in silence than talk about real things. You do not challenge me. You do not make me feel alive. You're just safe. I took a step closer, lowering my voice. And that's what made it so easy, huh? I did not challenge you enough. So you found someone else to do it behind my back. I needed more, Jake. I needed something that felt real again. No, I said, you needed attention. You needed someone new to feed your ego. And when that got messy, you ran here. Not to apologize, but to control the story before I could tell it. She swallowed, eyes flicking toward the door. I do not want to be the bad guy. You are. Those two words hit her like a slap. Not because she had not heard worse, but because she could not spin it. I was not arguing. I was not breaking down. I was just done. She stared at me for a long moment. Her eyes went cold. You think walking away makes you strong? She whispered, it just makes you forgettable. That was it. That was the last nail she drove into the coffin. Good. I said, then forget me. I stepped back inside and closed the door behind me. I did not even look back. From the window, Matt and I watched her stand there for a few seconds. Then she turned, walked back to her car, and drove off. She did not text, did not call, but I knew it was not over. Not by a long shot. 3 days later. I got a call from an unknown number while I was grabbing groceries. I do not usually answer those, but something told me to pick up. Jake, the voice was male. Tense. This is Ryan's wife, Emily. I stopped dead in the middle of the frozen foods aisle. I found your number in one of his old texts. I was not sure if I should call, but she took a breath. I think we need to talk. She sounded calm, too calm, the kind of calm that only comes after everything inside you's been burned down, and there's nothing left to do but walk through the ashes. We met at a coffee shop 2 towns over later that afternoon. She was sitting by the window, hands wrapped tight around a paper cup. No makeup, hair pulled back, her wedding ring still on, probably out of spite. She stood when I walked in. No hug, no smile. Just a nod like we were about to sign a treaty. I saw everything she said before I even sat down. Messages, photos, hotel bookings. She sent him a Spotify playlist, Jake. A playlist like they were 16. I did not know what to say. I just nodded slowly. We sat in silence for a moment. I confronted him, she said finally. He did not even deny it. Said Madison was light and I was heavy. Like marriage is some kind of emotional luggage you're supposed to check at the door when you meet someone fun. My jaw clenched. That was exactly the kind of garbage Madison would eat up. Emotional metaphors disguised as insight. She told him she was going to leave you, Emily said. And he believed her. They had a plan. But then I found out, and I told his boss. Told his family. Took half our savings and filed. And now she looked at me dead in the eyes. He's trying to crawl back. I sat there letting it all sink in. The timelines, the lies, the fact that we were both casualties in a game we did not even know we were playing. I guess I just wanted you to know, she said softer now. You were not crazy. You did not imagine it. They made us feel small so they could feel big. That hit harder than I expected. Because yeah, that's what it was. They did not cheat because they were unhappy. They cheated because they wanted to. And in doing so, they made us feel like the problem just so they could justify what they'd already decided to do. I appreciate you reaching out, I said, voice low. Seriously. We parted with a handshake. 2 strangers tied together by wreckage. When I got back to Matt's, I found a package on the porch. No return label. Just my name in that perfect handwriting I used to love. Inside was a photo album. Our wedding photos. Our anniversary cards. a few Polaroids from the first apartment we ever rented, and a note scribbled at the bottom of the box. I thought you might want these before I throw everything else out. That night I did not cry. I took the album out back, lit the fire pit, and sat with it in my lap for a while. Then I fed it page by page to the flames. I did not do it out of spite. I did it for closure. I did not want souvenirs from a life she'd already decided to forget. Let her throw the rest out. I was done keeping what she could not wait to burn. The fire burned slow. Each photo curled into itself before catching flame, like even the memories were not eager to go but knew they had to. The one of us holding sparklers in the backyard, grinning with wine-stained teeth. The selfie from that seafood shack in Charleston where we'd eaten way too much and laughed all night. Gone. One by one. I thought I feel regret. I did not. I felt lighter. The next morning my lawyer called. We'd filed for separation 2 days prior, quick, no fault, clean split. I was not fighting for the house. I did not want it. Not because I could not afford to, but because it already felt like it belonged to someone else. The walls, the air, the silence, all hers. Let her keep the stage she performed on. But then the lawyer said something that made my blood go cold. There's been some movement on her end, he said. She's contesting the terms. Wants to revisit some financials. I blinked. What? She's asking for spousal support. Claims she sacrificed her career trajectory to support you during your early years. I had to laugh. Support me? She'd been flitting through marketing internships and vanity projects while I took double shifts and built a digital firm from the ground up. She used to roll her eyes when I stayed up late coding. Said I worked like an accountant with a caffeine addiction. Now she wanted a payout? I should have seen it coming. That afternoon, I got a message request on Instagram. A private account. No profile pic. Just a name, Maddie_new chapter. The message said, You really trying to punish me now? Grow up. We both made choices. I stared at it for a long while before replying. No, Madison, you made choices. I lived through them. She left me on read. An hour later, she posted a photo to her story. A wine glass, candles, a bath. Caption. Clean energy only. That was her game now. Perception. Rebranding. She was not just trying to move on. She wanted the world to think she transcended me. That she de-leveled up. But here's the part she did not understand. I was not playing anymore. She could post all the glamorous self-love bull she wanted. She could tell whatever story helped her sleep. But behind that glowing screen, she was still the woman who lied with a straight face and flinched at the truth. And I had nothing left to lose. That night, I sat with Matt in his garage while he fixed his old bike. Classic brother stuff. We did not talk much, just clinking tools, the low buzz of a portable fan. Out of nowhere, he asked, You still love her? I did not answer right away. Took a sip of my drink. Let the silence stretch. Then I said, I do not even know who she is. Because that's the truth, is not it? Love ca not survive that kind of betrayal. Not when the version of her I loved never really existed, just a character she played until the audience got boring. But I'll admit, some nights, I still dream about her. And when I wake up, I do not miss her. I miss the guy I used to be before she broke him. A week passed with no word from her. No texts, no calls, no new attacks from mystery Instagram accounts. Just silence. I should have felt relief. Instead, it felt like the silence before a storm. That Friday, I met with the lawyer again, just to prepare for whatever stunt she'd try next. We went over everything. Income. Property. The paper trail from her little getaway weekends with Ryan. My lawyer raised a brow when he saw the dates. She was using your joint card for this? Guess she did not think I'd check, I muttered. He smirked. She's either reckless or arrogant. Both. We filed a motion. If she wanted to play hardball, fine. But she'd have to do it in front of a judge. That night she called me. Blocked number. I answered out of instinct. Her voice came through the line low, unsteady. Jake. Silence. I messed everything up. I did not respond. You do not even have to say anything. I do not know who I am right now. Still, I said nothing. I wanted her to feel that void. The one she left me in. She let out a shaky breath. Ryan's not who I thought he was. He's cold. When his wife found out, he just shut down, started saying it was a mistake. That he did not owe me anything. He said I was just a phase. The irony hit me so hard I nearly laughed. Madison, the queen of rewriting history, was finally on the receiving end of her own game. Someone made her feel disposable, and now she remembered what pain looked like. I thought you should know, she added softly. That I get it now. What I did to you. What it means. She waited for a reply. But I was not giving her the catharsis she came looking for. Jake, please say something. I finally spoke. I did not deserve what you did to me. I know. No, you do not, I said, suddenly sharp. Because if you did, you would not have waited until he dumped you to figure it out. You'd have apologized the second you saw my face when I heard you call me pathetic. She went quiet. I did not come here to fix things, she whispered. I do not have anyone left. And there it was. The truth behind the call. She was not seeking forgiveness. She was seeking comfort. From the one person she discarded like an empty bottle. You burned the bridge, Madison. You do not get to walk back across it just because the other side's on fire now. Then I hung up. And I did not feel angry. I felt free. Later that night, Mac came home with a bottle of bourbon and 2 cigars. He did not say why he did not have to. We sat on the back porch under the string lights, and I told him everything. From the moment I heard her voice upstairs to the second I closed the door in her face. He nodded through all of it. Quiet. Thoughtful. You know what the worst part is? I said, staring at the flame of the cigar. He waited. I loved someone who never really existed. I loved the idea of her. And now I see not tell which memories are real and which ones were just good acting. Matt leaned back, exhaled smoke, and said, that was not love, man. That was a con. And somehow that made it easier. Because now I could stop mourning the loss of something that never actually lived. I stood in front of the courthouse 2 weeks later, dressed in the same blazer I wore to our anniversary dinner last year. The one where she smiled through dessert, complimented the waiter, and told me I still made her feel special, a lie that had aged like milk. Madison arrived 15 minutes late. Of course. She always did like to make an entrance. She wore sunglasses even though it was overcast, her lips done up in some defiant berry red color, and heels I had not seen since that New Year's party we hosted before everything went to hell. She barely looked at me. Just nodded to her lawyer, whispered something under her breath, and took her seat across the room like I was another appointment in her calendar. The hearing was straightforward. Clean on paper, messy in subtext. Our lawyers did most of the talking. She did not contest the financials in the end. Guess her little stunt did not hold up when the receipts came out. She sat there, arms crossed, tapping her heel like she was waiting for coffee instead of the final nail in our marriage. The judge asked if either party had anything to say before the agreement was finalized. Madison said no. I stood. Not for drama. Not for revenge. Just because I needed to. I gave her everything, I said, voice steady. Time, love, patience. And she spent it on someone else, not just physically, but emotionally. She checked out long before I ever opened her laptop. And I've spent every day since figuring out how to stop blaming myself for not noticing sooner. I did not look at her. I did not need to. I'm not here to beg. I'm not here to hurt her. I'm here to let go. Because the man she walked away from? He does not live in me anymore. The courtroom was dead quiet when I sat down. The judge signed the papers with a swift flick of the pen. And that was it. 8 years of marriage dissolved in 15 minutes. Outside, she approached me on the steps. No crowd, no audience, just the echo of traffic and wind. That speech, she began, was not for you, I said. She flinched just a little. Then she nodded like she finally understood. Or maybe like she could not understand, and that was the difference now. I hope you find what you were looking for, she said. I already did, I replied. Peace. She lingered, waiting for something, I do not know what. But I turned and walked away. And this time I did not look back. What I learned. Betrayal does not always come with sirens. Sometimes it comes in whispers behind doors you never thought to open. If you're rereading this and you feel that pit in your stomach, that quiet knowing, do not ignore it. You re not paranoid. You re not needy. You re aware. And you deserve more than someone who makes you feel hard to love. I thought I'd be shattered after this. I thought I'd spend years picking up pieces. But the truth? She broke a version of me that needed breaking. And now, for the first time in a long time, I'm whole.